teenager, trying to figure it out.
I've been thinking about what makes a great sibling and what makes one trash.
I want to start off by giving you each an opportunity to tell me a little bit about your characters. What I'd really love to know is like, how much do you feel that you're like them? And if not, like, who are you drawing on to kind of build who they are?
I feel like Greta is like, she's definitely one of those people that I see just a lot of in real life. She's very in her feelings and she's very to herself. And it's like a very difficult thing for her to come out into just who she is and everything that she is, and it's you get to watch this like really amazing kind of like courageousness that comes from her. And I feel like it's not in a way that you typically see it in like TV shows, but it's a way that like it happens in real life. And I feel like it's really easy to connect with a lot of these characters because a lot of these characters just feel like really authentic and real. When you're watching these people, you're like, I know who that is. They're all, they all feel so real, or they feel like a piece of you, and the feelings that they're going through is something that's so universal. Like it's not something that is like so out there that you can't connect to it. You truly can, in a way that when you're watching it, it almost feels like it feels so vulnerable for the viewer because it's like you're peeking inside of somebody's life.
Yeah, I loved playing Delilah. She's so fiery, so intense, so unapologetic. She stands up for what she believes in. She's not your like typical A student. She stands up to authority. She's not afraid to question authority. And I hope I'm similar to her in that way. Yeah, she's incredibly strong. I think at the beginning, talking to Zelda was the biggest help developing the character. But I think I pulled a lot from, real life Gen Z kids that are very passionate about this world that they're growing up in. They are so aware of all of these issues that they feel responsible to fix, and they're not taking no change for an answer. And yeah, that's where I pulled inspiration from for Delilah. Yeah.
When I read Chester in the initial audition, when I read him in the sides, I was like, oh, I know this guy. Like I've met this guy many times. And I didn't originally audition for Chester. I auditioned for the guidance counselor, who was originally a younger part. And my friend, after I didn't get that, my friend was like, you should go in for Chester. I was like, I don't know. I feel like they're just going to get the guy. But I was like, oh, why not? I'll go in. And I went in and I was like, oh, this is dope. Like I could just play the person that I am thinking of, who like, this is clearly that person in my life. So, and from there, it kind of was just like born of, like every time I am trying to describe Chester, a bunch of like words pop into my head, but they don't really come together in a coherent sentence. So I'm just going to say those words. He's like this bold and effervescent and loud and present, and he's a truth seeker, and he is provocative, but authentically so. Like it's just like a part of his nature, and he's all of these things kind of combined, and he deep down wants to be loved for those things, and feels like a profound sense of loneliness because as he pursues his authenticity, he accidentally keeps people at bay. So that's kind of like his struggle throughout the series, is like, I really wish somebody would love me because I am all of these things and not in spite of.
Well, Naomi grew up in perfect Orange County. She grew up very comfortably, pretty similarly how I grew up. I actually grew up in Orange County. I grew up in San Clemente. Every house was 5,000 square feet, perfect decorations, and the pool, and this everything you could ever imagine, and the perfect schools. And I think when you do grow up in a community like that, there becomes a lot of cliques, and a lot of the girls are the same, and Naomi definitely follows that. She's pretty basic. She likes Brandy Melville and her Air Force Ones. She likes very basic things. I'm sure she likes a Starbucks latte, and she just follows the trends, and she's not very original, but there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. That's just who she is. And yeah, she's a really fun character to play. She likes rap music and is very vulgar and just very all over the place. But I think that's also what makes her so fun to play.
So Nathan also comes from this very affluent, very religious background in terms of his family. And I think he's very much trying to find who he really is outside of those kinds of rigid expectations, and find out what his like actual real truth is outside of all of that. And me and Nathan like grew up extremely differently, like about as opposite as you possibly can. But one thing that I found really kind of beautiful is that I feel like emotionally and like personality wise, me and Nathan are very, very, very similar. I kind of have this same proclivity to neurotic anxiety and can constantly overthinking everything and over speaking and going on these like weird tangents and things like that. So I thought it was, it's just been honestly a real gift to explore and play this character.
Ariana is, she's a teenager and she has 2 gay dads. And she makes, crazy jokes all the time, like offhandedly harsh jokes all the time, but she feels like she can do it because she has 2 gay dads. She's a jokester, but underneath all of that, she has a need to be seen. And underneath all that hard exterior, she's actually a soft teddy bear, and she's very vulnerable. So for me, I'm totally opposite from Ariana. We don't have much in common, except, I've heard that I'm funny, and I guess Ariana's funny. So, but for me, I had to start from the ground up with this character. I created journal. I spoke with Zelda. I spoke with the writers. So in my journal, what I do is each scene that she has, I write a backstory for it. I write subtext for each of her lines. I create a bio for her. And music also helps me a lot just to get into the scenes, whether they're emotional or hyper. I have a playlist for each scene. And so all of that combined, plus the outfits, oh my gosh, the wardrobe on this show. I think Shirley and the whole wardrobe team, the whole makeup and hair team, they're amazing. And all of that combined helps me step into Ariana.
Wait, I'm curious, like, what's the most Ariana song? I mean, it sounds like, as you mentioned, there's a whole playlist, but like, is there one that is always your immediate go-to that like locks you?
It's weird, but on her playlist, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road by Elton John.
Whoa.
It just seems to get me there for all of those vulnerable emotional scenes. Like that song in particular, it's on repeat. Like whenever I have an emotional scene or vulnerable scene to do.
Flaming Hot Cheetos by Claro is like that's such a mood and such a Greta mood, but yeah, that's my song.
I wanna be the one you think about at night, and I wanna be the one that you would put up a fight for.
I will say any Fiona Apple, any Amy Winehouse, any Cat Power, just like that's like a lot of like 90s, early 2000s.
Every time the second hand went by, a group of 5 done 12 times was a minute, but Shameika said I had potential.
Well, here, this one doesn't. It's called Why Don't You? But it's by Father. Like the chorus is like, why don't you love me, Daddy? Why don't you? That one works really well. There's a lot of like, I have Twerk by City Girls. I have My Neck, My Back. I Like Him, Princess Nokia, Pussy Talk, City Girls, Smack a Bitch, Rico Nasty. Like a lot of Boys by Charlie XCX. A lot of like twerking music, a lot of like I have Whole Lot of Money by Bia, which I love that song. A lot of just like, you know, Frank Ocean, of course, more sad boy stuff. Chester also has a fascination with like female singers with a tragic past. So like
same.
Whitney Houston, I have like a lot of that music too.
Barbie Tingz, Nicki Minaj. But basically anything Nicki Minaj. What is, oh gosh, Good Form, Nicki Minaj. Honestly, WAP, like anything that's like very raunchy, I feel like Naomi would just eat it up. Her mom probably, any song that her mom would disapprove of, she would probably put on blast and just twerk to it.
I'm still fly, just bag the white guy. Bitchy like guy, and I still eat Thai. Want the Nicki cheat code? Come on, bitch, nice try.
There's a few, because it kind of depends on the scene for me, or like depends on what we're doing, of like what I'll listen to like get into the mode or whatever. But the big three I would say are White Flag by Dido, This Love by Maroon 5.
Are you gonna say Teenage Dream, please?
I thought about it, but then I thought honestly, there's although that one is incredible and very neat. New Person's Same Old Mistakes by Tame Impala. I think that is like a Nathan song. That sums him up. I feel like so well.